So what are we making about this fight, this possible fight between Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Gamboa?
Mikey Garcia is supposed to fight Gamboa next. He's fighting Boris. So it shows the courage in Mikey Garcia that he's afraid. Why would you tell Gamboa to, start training? We started camp. But on January 25th, Mikey Garcia is not fighting Gamboa in New York City. He's fighting another guy named Boris. So evidently he's afraid. He's got to be afraid inside, intimidated of the Cuban killer. So at the end of the day, when you look at it, Mikey Garcia is fighting Boris in New York City on January 25th, and he's supposed to be fighting Gamboa. So now we've been training for Mikey Garcia all this time to find out that he don't want to fight Gamboa on January 25th is an embarrassment. Why would a guy come to the fight in New York? Why? All the Cubans in New York was waiting for this fight. All the Cubans in New York was waiting in New York and Miami to come to New York to see Gamboa put on a show. And Mikey Garcia is fighting Boris. I know nothing about Boris. Nothing. But he said after the fight with Roman, with the guy from Puerto Rico, in the middle of the ring with his brother and his promoter, that he will fight Gamboa next, January 25th. Who do you want? When they asked him on HBO, when they asked Mikey Garcia, he said he wants to fight Gamboa.
That's what he said.
That's what Mikey Garcia said. Now they're fighting somebody else. Why? Come on, man. It gets tougher as it goes on. He beat the boy in Puerto Rico, who was a great fighter, but there's levels in this. And Mikey Garcia knows that. Bob Earn knows that. He got an undefeated fighter there.
Are they protecting him? Are they protecting
number
Mikey
one, they're
Garcia?
protecting Mikey Garcia. Number two, they ain't ready for Mikey Garcia to lose. And number three, I don't hear Mikey Garcia barking, telling his promoter, that is the only fight I want. What I'm going to New York to fight this other guy, Boris, for? I'm supposed to be fighting Gamboa. I got the Mexican people saying they want Gamboa and Mikey Garcia. I got the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans and the Colombians and the Cubans, all coming from Miami, all coming from down there in Miami and Tampa, Florida, all coming from Cuba, flying in. The Mexican people was coming into New York, but we got to fight with Boris. Gamboa undefeated. Undefeated, big time gold medalist, ready to rumble, putting it all on the line. It's come one, come all. But Mikey Garcia is fighting Boris. He's either being protected by his promoter or he's scared. Anybody can talk it, but you got to walk it. Gamboa fight on, you take all comers.
You say Gamboa ready to fight him?
He's ready to fight him and whoever. But the big fight was, they was talking all this stuff about Mikey Garcia. HBO wanted to fight. Gamboa said it was a fight, he's ready to fight. 50 Cent said we ready to rumble town, we gonna get him. We got the fight with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia goes on HBO, scared to death when the fight was over with to mention Gamboa's name. They forced him to say it. He was scared. He wants to fight Gamboa. He wants to fight Gamboa. So Gamboa come to Las Vegas to start training camp. We fly in 4 sparring partners. We get ready for Mikey Garcia. We bring in 4 Mexicans because he's a Mexican fighter. His size, we ready for it. We do what we do. At the end of the day, the man is in Madison Square Garden fighting Boris.
And when Robert Garcia say on a YouTube video that he's waiting for 50 cents to give him a contract, he say with a lot of zeros.
Mikey Garcia has a promoter. His name is Bob Earn. He's gonna have to get his money from Bob Earn. We don't deal with Mikey Garcia. He has a promoter, Bob Earn. That's the protocol, the way it go. He has to get whatever money he wants from 50 Cent. He got to get it from Bob Earn. At the end of the day, he was afraid to step to the table and tell Bob Earn is protecting Mikey Garcia. Ain't no question he's protecting him. He's afraid because Gamboa will waste no time with him. He's another victim. He's an up-and-coming stepper, but he will get beat by the ruler, Gamboa. So at the end of the day, they go into New York City. The Cubans was waiting on Gamboa. The Mexican ain't even flying out of Mexico in the Bay Area of California to go to New York to watch Boris. Nobody knows Boris. No disrespect to Boris, but nobody knows him. I never heard of the fighter. I've heard of Mikey Garcia because he kept running around shooting off he wants Gamboa. He wants to fight Gamboa, even when he was at 126.
He wants to fight Gamboa. Do you heard that Mikey Garcia sent an address to Gamboa to fight him? He say This is what he said. He said, you know, if you want to fight me, this is my address. You can come to California and meet me. Something to that effect. And Gamboa replied to him that Gamboa doesn't want to fight him in California in the street. Gamboa wants to fight him on top of the ring.
Hey, this is
were you aware of that?
No, that's this talk. That's a scared man talking like that. These guys are prize fighter. Gamboa is a prize fighter. He fights in the ring for a living. He's a gladiator. He fights for the biggest prize. It's come one, come all. The street fights are over with. He told me he did that when he was 16, 17. And fighting in the streets, stuff like that. That's over. Gamboa fight for the money. He's a money fighter. He wanted the biggest fighter, which was Mikey Garcia. All these guys, the Colombians and Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans and the Cubans, thought that it was going to be Gamboa in Madison Square Garden fighting in there with 50 Cent, with Barbara bringing this guy, Mikey Garcia, from the West Coast and from Mexico to fight Gamboa. Hey, the guy fighting a guy named Borges. Hey, I wish him luck, but it's going to be hard down the road. You know, you can't just keep. And Gamboa would have fought in November. But we thought we was going to fight the guy in January. So we start training in November, December, then the fight January. So come to find out, no fight.
Tommyson, when the fans keep on asking Gamboa to go to New York and challenge Garcia during his fight, what do you say to that?
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Cancel that fight you got right now. Cancel that fight. Tell Barbara, your promoter, to pay that guy Borges a few dollars because he made a mistake putting the worst fight in Madison Square Garden in New York City, the biggest marketing capital of the world. You're going to put a guy nobody knows against two undefeated guys? Gamboa undefeated. He's undefeated. Gamboa Olympic champion. Gamboa take on all comers. He's saying he take on all comers, but he's fighting another guy. Why would anybody want to go to that fight? Why? You tell me why. Tell Bob Earn to cancel that fight, and let's make the fight with Mikey Garcia and Gamboa in March. That's what Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia need to do. Tell your promoter to cancel that fight, and let's make the big fight in March with Gamboa. Yeah, we ready. Gamboa ready, 50 Cent ready, we all ready. The people in New York are ready. There's nobody gonna come out to that fight like that. There's nobody gonna come out. Even the Mexican people, Garcia let the Mexican people down because they thought Garcia was going after a true champion. Two undefeated fighters, and the Mexican people gotta spend their plane tickets to come all the way from California, Utah, San Diego, Arizona, Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and Mexico to see this bullshit? Come on, we want the biggest fight in the world, man. If you ain't gonna be a part of the biggest fight in the world, why waste our time and keep calling Gamboa out? What, you using Gamboa's name for leverage, for marketing? Come on, man. Either you fight or you run and hide. Because that's not the Mexican true fighter then. The Mexican true fighters, I know Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Marquez, them real fighters. Real fighters. Down-to-earth fighter, take on all comers. Marquez, Chavez, they take on all comers, man. They're real Mexican fighters. This boy Garcia said he wanted to fight Gamboa. Called Gamboa out on HBO. 50 Cent is negotiating with HBO. Next thing you know, Mikey Garcia and his promoter protects him. They goes the other way with Borges. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. In New York, you got to bring the biggest fight. When you fight in Madison Square Garden, you don't bring garbage. You got to bring the biggest fight. And you want Gamboa, they want Gamboa to come sit ringside? For what? He's supposed to be fighting a guy. Why would Gamboa want to come sit ringside at Madison Square Garden if he ain't fighting the guy, Mikey Garcia? What is this, a game? We go sit up in the movie theaters if we want to go sit somewhere. They got movie theaters all around Las Vegas. So at the end of the day, hey, Mikey Garcia, you got to get some balls. You're a great fighter, they say. No disrespect, but you're not showing real Mexican balls. Chavez is disappointed. Marquez is disappointed. Chavez Jr., all those great Mexican fighters. And when the Cubans stepped to the table and called you, out because you called him out, we wasn't thinking about you. We was moving up to see if we can get Danny Garcia. We was hoping that Bruno beat Madonna. You don't have balls like Madonna. You got to fight the best to be the best. So you come on and tell your promoter, Bob, cancel that fight, give the guy a couple of dollars, and let's set it off for March. That's a real fight. That's what the world want to see.
That's what we want to see.
That's what we want to see.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
My man.
Thank you.
You know, anytime.